Hi guys and happy Wednesday. I am your host Priscilla and we are here live in studio at Social Media Shows. Welcome back. Every week we come here, we meet lots of amazing locals here in Las Vegas. They do everything from being entrepreneurs, to being in film, to being singers, to being just performers, to being anything that you can think of under the sun. What I love about coming here every single week is that our guest sitting here is going to be able to tell an amazing story about their journey, why they love what they do, and inspiring you guys to do the same. So when we come back, we're going to jump right into it. So make sure you guys do not go anywhere because we are going to go right into our first guest. And today it's going to center around film, movies, acting, people who started and came back or started, and you do not want to miss it. So if you are a movie person, if you are an actor, if you are in film, whether you just love it or whether you work in it, you are not going to want to miss this episode. So I will see you right after the break.
It's a tough market. We get it. Home inventory is at an all-time low. It's a seller's market, and cash buyers have the advantage. Recently, cash buyers made up more than a quarter of all home purchases. But we have the solution. New American Funding's Buyer Accepted program allows your buyers to compete with all cash offers by becoming cash buyers themselves. Here's how it works. Buyer Accepted LLC, an affiliated company of New American Funding, will purchase your buyer's new home with cash and sell it back to them for the original purchase price, plus a fee that can be added to the purchase of the home once they secure mortgage financing with New American Funding. The best part is that they don't need to sell their current home first. This is a true cash offer. Clients who use our Buyer Accepted program can secure financing using a conventional loan and even VA. Plus, there are no fees for agents and no sacrificing commissions. Buyer Accepted even offers a free 1-hour certification course that will make you the expert. You want to close more deals and help more clients? New American Funding's Buyer Accepted program is the answer.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social Media Shows is now the new media of the century.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hi guys and welcome back. I am Priscilla Moy and we are live here on The Hot Seat where I'm introducing to you to amazing locals here in town that do some amazing things and have an amazing story. Our first guest is an actress who then went to law school and then now is back in the acting game. So some of you might know her, some of you might have seen her. So everyone please welcome Mary Kauffman. Hi, welcome. Please take a seat. So hello. Welcome to the hot seat.
Hi,
It's our first time meeting.
Yes, first time meeting. Yeah, very glad to be here, though.
I hope you're not nervous.
No.
Thank you for sitting here on the hot seat and talking to us about all of your amazing achievements. So first and foremost, we were talking a little bit off camera when we did go to break, and Mary Kauffman, like that's technically your stage name.
It is my
Correct.
stage name, yes.
Yes, so put that out there. Like she's a queen. She's of multiple identities. A Hannah Montana. I'm just kidding. But you're originally from Detroit, Michigan.
I am from Detroit,
so
Michigan.
You're a Midwest girl.
Yeah, I am a Midwest girl, so I do say Detroit, but I am actually from a suburb of Detroit, at Grosse Pointe, Michigan. I think if people are fans of John Cusack, they might know from Grosse Pointe Blank. Yeah, there was some that was filmed there, but it was mostly not filmed in Grosse Pointe, but there was a little bit that was. So that's how most people know it. But yeah, very, very nice, very quiet suburb. I went to school there. I was raised there, and then I went to Hope College, which is on the west side of Michigan. And then I spent some time in London, England for a year because I thought I wanted to get my law degree in England, but then that didn't necessarily work out. So I came back. I got a second bachelor's degree in paralegal studies. And during that time, I actually did start acting in Michigan. I started doing local things there. I actually did a film in Michigan that was filmed where I went to camp growing up. And when I filmed that, I actually adopted a cat that was on that farm. And that cat's still mine. She's here.
Oh, that's amazing. So she's kind of been with you since like the start.
Yeah, about 8 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, now you have a furry friend, and then you always share something really special with her. So I'm also from the Midwest, so that's going to be something I'm from Chicago. So I'm pretty aware of like Michigan and all the things up there, and it's cold.
It is
basically.
cold.
It's very cold.
It's not as windy as Chicago.
Yeah, but now we're here. We're in a warm, sunny place, and amazing. So you technically started on the stage, right? It was theater and stage performance kind of your thing? At the beginning?
Yeah, sort of like when I was in high school, like we had to do some sort of after school activity to get credit to graduate. You could do sports, you could do sports management. I think there was also an exercise like program you could do, but you could also use theater to get those credits. And so I decided I did the winter they did the musical, and fall they did the play. The play was a bit more competitive because it's a very small school, so there were small plays, but the musical, like more people could do it. So yeah, I was mostly in the ensemble. I never got a main part in the musicals, but I still enjoyed it very much so.
What about stage and performing really drew to you? Because I'm assuming this was more in the beginning of your love for acting, when you kind of figured that out, right?
So I think it's just more just I like being in front of an audience. Mainly I like I guess like sort of Lady Gaga, I live for the applause.
Yeah.
All that like it just shows that like I think mainly because like there's a lot that goes into acting, you know, like you have to break down the scene, you have to rehearse and stuff, and I guess like getting rewarded for your hard work and doing something you truly love. I don't know, I just like felt like I always loved performing. It wasn't necessarily like anything that like I could say that I truly like could point a finger on. I just know that I always really like to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome because it kind of led you to doing everything that you do now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you did go to law school, you did have paralegal studies, so in a way that's a lot of speaking. It's a lot of presenting. It's a lot of being very assertive in front of people and stating your case, no pun intended. But yeah, so that's kind of, I'm assuming where that comes from, your love for performing and things like that.
Yeah, so, and it actually, like, I realize now that, like, acting really does help, like, those who practice law as well, because obviously, like you say, you're in front of a judge and stuff, you're presenting your case, and you have to be super eloquent to get that point across. And also, like, because I thought about this, too, because I went to an acting intensive at Dream Tracks this weekend with Michael Cimino. He's an actor. I don't know if you know who he is or not, but yeah, and I talked to him about that, where I said, yeah, you know, you were on me about, like, learning how to listen while I'm acting, and I was like, yeah, you know, like, we really do listen in real life, but for some odd reason, like, it's really hard to get that into acting and stuff, like, it's like, yeah, because you know all the lines and stuff, you know what the other person's going to say, so you have to, like, sort of make it look real, like you're hearing that stuff for the first time. Being
in the moment is definitely a skill that you have to obtain when you are training as an actor. So you did mention London, England. What about London in the UK really called to you to go for legal studies?
Yeah, it was something where I thought I really did want to live there. I always, like, was really into the UK. I really liked watching BBC growing up, so I thought it was something I could do, and I really did feel at home there, but you know, it is a stark contrast, and there were some things going on with my family that I might not be comfortable sharing, but it was a situation where I did have to go back. But while I was there, I did learn about myself. I do think that when you are in your early 20s, I really do think, like, maybe at least for a year, that you should get out of your hometown for for like a year or so, just so you can find yourself and see like, like, do I have bigger things that I'm interested in? And that's basically why I did it. I just wanted to see if like there was anything that called me like outside of my hometown. So.
Yeah, I know it kind of fascinated you, and it kind of, if anything, like it kind of was a success in a way because it did teach you more about yourself. If you really did find yourself there, and you kind of get not only getting out of your hometown, but getting out of the country and experiencing different types of people. Right.
Yeah, and especially living in a city, and I know that I think a good portion of my graduating class, if they did not stay in Grosse Pointe, they live in Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles. I think it's important for you to especially spend time in a city because it really helps cement in like the world doesn't revolve around you, and like you're only like the only person you can count on is yourself. So I think it's really important that you get that sort of mindset, not in an aggressive way, but just sort of like to like sort of have a bit of like experience in the real world outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Now, what kind of law really fascinates you? What law do you practice?
So what I'm sort of taking a break from practicing right now, but what I did personal injury. And I really did enjoy helping people. And I feel like especially in personal injury where you're helping out people who are in a vulnerable position, they got into a car accident, lots of these people, like, their car was totaled, they don't have money, they have very bad medical bills, and so I just wanted to make sure that they get their justice, and so they can, like, because they need someone to, like, talk to these insurance companies and, like, be able to get a decent settlement so they can get their life back on track, and that was definitely one of the more rewarding aspects. I really liked, like, I was a very good negotiator. I really liked negotiating with the insurance adjusters where I would get the full policy limits, and it was just always, I liked calling them to tell them that they got a good settlement because they were so happy to hear that.
And when did you move to Vegas?
I moved to Vegas in June of 2020. So it was I moved during the pandemic, which was quite the experience.
Did work bring you out here, or is it just Vegas was calling you in a way?
I actually always wanted to move to Vegas. I always liked it. My dad does have a practice out here, so it wasn't like I was going in cold. And that practice is Lips and Nielsen if you have any like insurance defense or business like law they need. So just like pulling that plug in. But yeah, I liked the temperatures. I definitely liked that it was close to LA. I think even when I was practicing law, I still sort of had like in the back of my mind, like maybe I do want to like maybe at least for fun anyway to go back to acting. So that was another.
And so that kind of probably recently came back to you because I noticed that you're all about, you couldn't get rid of your love for acting. No. Right? The love came back. Well, always there, but then you're like, no, I need to decide to make this my career now. So when was that epiphany? What really drew you back into it, like, for good?
I think it was fall of last year. I think I was sort of like maybe it's because I was sort of in a place where it's like, oh, do I still want to practice law? This job isn't really working out, so what else can I do? And so I was just thinking like, oh, like, I always liked acting, and I mean, I'm out on the West Coast. It's a bit more attainable now. So I thought that maybe I can take classes and find a job that's a bit more, along with finding a job that's more flexible. So
yeah, and it definitely is. It can be what you make of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that technically led you to Dream Tracks. So I'm assuming that's how you found Dream Tracks. And you're currently in it now. I'm not really sure how the classes work, but I know some people stay for an extended amount of time, and then they'll go do a conference or like an audition out in a different city, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean, like some people go to the conference, some people don't. It just depends on like what your main goals are. But yeah, I do like Dream Tracks. I think that Frank and the other teachers that work there really do genuinely care about their students and want us to like set up a career to be a working actor. That's what I really like about them, and I like that they challenge you. So there are a few classes that are going on. I know Mondays they're actually starting an improv troupe that's debuting in the Palms. I'm not in it yet. I think maybe later on I'll probably end up joining, but don't quote me on that. But but yeah, the improv troupe is on Mondays, and then also they train you how to do auditions, which I think is very important because I still have pretty bad anxiety. I know that I'm talking to you and I'm talking on live internet right now, but yeah, I do still have some anxiety with auditions, so that class really helps. Tuesday is just a regular actors intensive, and then Wednesday today, which is I'm going right after this, I'm doing a stunt class that's taught by Jeremiah Brennan. He does actually know what he's doing. It is a really good class, and on Thursdays, it's more of the advanced classes and master's class. I go to those too.
Yeah.
And Friday, they have the modeling class that's taught by Dawn Sullivan, who has a show here as well.
Yeah,
So,
which is kind of your connect and how you got here.
How I got that here,
assuming.
because I was on Dawn's show about a few weeks ago,
Yeah, and so you're not a new person on social media shows, which is great. I see a lot of people that come here and they've never seen this up before. A lot of people that don't do film, television, acting, they're on their own thing. If anything, they'll do YouTube. And like this to them is like very intimidating. So I'm kind of glad that for you, at least, you kind of had your feet wet a little bit on Dawn's show and then also with your classes, which is great.
Yeah, and also when I was at Hope College, during my last semester, my senior year, I did take a news broadcasting class where they sort of taught you how to, read a teleprompter, how to talk about the weather. Honestly, I have so much respect for meteorologists because it's really hard because there's just there's like a green screen back here that you can't see anything. Exactly. You just have to
remember, you just remember the picture and you're like, all right, it's got to be somewhere around here. Like press the sun, right?
Yeah.
So what about acting really calls to you? Why do you want to be an actor?
Well, I think it's. I know lots of people think like, oh, I want to be famous. I want to be this, and sure, that'd be a very cool thing to happen, but I think I just like it because I like being able to express myself, express my emotions, because I think especially nowadays people expect you to act a certain way, they say oh, you have to be serious, you have to be positive vibes only and whatnot, and when you're acting, especially if you're doing a scene where you're angry or sad, you can truly express yourself and show a side of you that you might not normally be able to show. So I think that's one thing about acting, that it's a very rewarding part of it. And it's an extremely intimidating part of it. And I'm still not entirely there yet, but I think I'll be there soon.
And you learn a lot about yourself in the process, even playing other characters.
Yeah, because you have to really dig deep into yourself to get certain emotions out. And also these are characters sometimes I might have to play a police officer. I'm not a police officer, but I have to understand how they work so I can be a convincing character.
So what has been your biggest struggle so far that you got back into acting, even prior to you finding Dream Tracks? Has there been an overlooking struggle that you're having that you feel is going to carry with you in regards to presenting yourself as an actor?
Yeah, and we talked about this when I went to the intensive with Michael Cimino last week. He does think that I do have raw emotions, but the main thing is that I have walls. There's something inside me that's holding me back from actually truly exposing everything. And they say you have acting chops. You could definitely. You can definitely book stuff, but to be a truly amazing actress, and I mean being in major films, maybe even going to the Oscars one day, you have to figure out what's causing those walls. So that's why I think lots of actors and people in general should look into their mental health and whatnot. I actually am going to go back into therapy to see because I do want those walls down. I do want to because I think it's just good. It's good in general because there are some people who feel they can't communicate because they have trauma that's holding them back and they're too afraid to talk about that. So, and I just know it's really good to get that stuff out there, but it can be scary to talk about that stuff. So I think that's the one thing that's holding me back is just those walls.
So what goals do you have for yourself apart from you letting go as an actor and really finding, you as an actor and you in that place? What's your end goal look like for you?
I would say and I did talk about this because there was another speaker came in. I just want to be able to be in a position where I can basically make all of my living off of being an actor. And obviously, it takes lots of financial education to do that. Because especially the actors are on strike right now because they're not being paid. But hopefully, I'll be able to be in a position where I can just just live off of being an actor and doing what I love.
And would you ever return back to the stage? Or do you feel like cameras and being on sets are more of where you call home?
I'm definitely not against. I'm not against being on the stage again. I would love to do that if I could find something that works for me.
Yeah, I feel when you mentioned London at one point before you said it was for studying law, I was they have a really good intensive theater community out there, and all the actors that come out of the UK, majority of the time, are very theatrically trained, which makes them really strong actors even on screen.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look, because the UK has a very small acting scene because it's just super hard to break into. I know it's who here, but in the UK, it's 10 times that. It's basically who your family was, who you know. And also you'll notice that the majority of those actors that you see, they either went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts or the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. That's like, they all went to those two schools. Benedict Cumberbatch went to Lambda, Tom Hiddleston, Rada, the guy who played Eddie Munson on Stranger Things, I think he went to Lambda. Like, they all went to those schools, and they're all great actors.
Right, and they all knew each other. They're like, oh yeah, when we were younger, we were roommates one time.
Yeah.
Back in blah, 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 which, you know, is really great. And so do you believe that there is going to be a film community here? I mean, it is what it is now, and I know it's growing, but I love hearing from actors, and you're more of the beginning stages, that take no offense, but you know, you're getting back into it, you're finding yourself, you're finding your place. Yeah. What does it look like from your end? How do you view the film community here in Vegas?
So, like, I've only been in the film community for 6 months, but from what I've seen, because I did go to a meetup in April, it seems that once you are, like, fully immersed in, like, the culture here, like, your family, like, it seems like Frank at Dream Tracks knows everyone, and there are students at Dream Tracks who have been acting for a very long time. They all have connections, and they all know each other, so I think that there is a tight-knit group. And with Sony and Disney coming, like, allegedly, we'll see, I think it's gonna, like, it is gonna make it even bigger, and I know that lots of my friends, I know Mark Wahlberg believes in it, and while I was in Los Angeles, lots of my friends got to meet him, which is very cool. So yeah, I do think the film industry in Las Vegas is going to grow and prosper. Yeah. Because I know that there was a time in Michigan for about, I think, like 3-4 years where there was a tax incentive. So many films were coming to Michigan to film there, and that tax incentive did fall through. So that's why I was telling people, this is like, I've sort of been burned with these film incentives for coming to, like, a certain state. So, I mean, it's a wait and see approach, but I guess since Vegas is a bit different than Michigan, I do think it's more likely to happen
just a little bit, in all different little aspects. Just like a little. It's our sister, right? Just kidding. But do you plan on staying here for a while? Do you love Vegas? Do you call this home?
Oh, yes, I do call it home. And honestly, I do love it so much. And honestly, I think my dad and stepmom like it a lot too. And they did mention, oh yeah, we're probably going to buy a property out here maybe. I'm just like, that'd be nice. So yeah, I do think that Vegas is finally going to have its, like, resurgence.
Yeah, and what is one thing that you're learning a lot about yourself? I know you're working, on your walls, but with Dream Tracks, because you're not the only student that has come here from Dream Tracks to sit in the hot seat, but what do you take from it? What do you see Dream Tracks as for you and your career and yourself?
I see it as a place that will not only make me a better actor, but a better person. I think with the people I've spoken to there and the friends that I've made there, they are making me into a better person. So I do think that, like, Dream Tracks is like the start of something really great for me. Yeah,
because it can be intimidating when you're going into a world that everyone wants to be in, right? And there's so many moving parts in acting, because acting can then range from film, stage, commercial, TV, broadcasting, events, all this stuff, hosting even, that it's something that you never really know where to start or where it's going to go, because every single day is different, right?
Right.
But you seem like you have the right guidance that can take you to the place where you want to go.
Yeah, and Dream Tracks is honestly the first acting school that I went to, because when I was in Michigan, I didn't really, because I was in my 20s, I was broke. I was a legal assistant before I went to law school. I didn't really have the funds to take acting classes there, so I was just basically, I was basically on my own there, so I do, Dream Tracks also definitely made me a better actor because I've been taking their classes.
Yeah. Right, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. It's just a little promotion right there.
Yeah.
Dream Tracks.
Come Dream Tracks.
But would you ever continue doing law? Is that something that you are not going to let go, or is it always going to be a part of you, or is that something that you're trying to leave behind and pursue acting full-time?
I think it is something I'm going to leave behind. I'm very grateful for law school. I learned a lot about myself. I've made lots of really good friends in law school, and it definitely made me learn how to think outside the box, which are good experiences to have. So I don't regret law school, but I think that I'm probably not going to practice law.
Yeah, I mean, it does build, your character. You do know how to meet people, talk to people, and kind of be assertive in a way, and I think those are all very good qualities that you need to have in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And Yeah, because like there were definitely some students that I went to law school with where you can tell that they want to practice law. They are lawyers. It's in their blood, and I don't think I had that same drive. I think that's what I get for acting.
Yeah, they see law. They are law. They want to be law, right? Like that's all that it is. But there is one more question that I do ask all of my guests. I do sit here, and it kind of sums up them as a person, and I love hearing their answer. Is there a motto or philosophy that you live by?
I would say it would be take it one day at a time, and never sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff.
It does eventually. Like the next day you wake up and be like, dang, I was really going crazy over that one thing. Really. Yeah. But thank you so much. You're a great guest. I really hope that you find your place in the acting community and you find yourself. Because once you do those things, I promise you will be able to let go. Because if you are able to let go in front of the camera, and that's the best that you can be in building any character that you're showing on there. So I really hope that for you.
I hope that too, and I'll get there.
You will. You will. Take it, like we said, one day at a time.
One day at a time, exactly.
Yeah, and focus on those struggles as they come. And I think that you will be able to withstand all the obstacles that will come your way. That. But everyone, Mary Kauffman, please tell them really quick on where to find you on social media if they want to connect.
If you want to find me on Instagram, it's Mary Kauffman. The last name is Kauffman, so it's Mary Kauffman.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We're going to be looking out for your success. I'm sure this isn't the last time that you'll be here on the network. So, Mary Kauffman, everyone, please follow her. And when we come back, we are going to meet our next amazing guest. So stay tuned for that.
The year is 2980, and we now know that death is not the end. A soul can be extracted from the recently deceased and be used to create a blue liquid called essence. It can bring a person back to life.
We'll get her back.
I hope so.
It's an expensive process used by the rich and powerful. The rest, they do what they can to survive.
Stay right there.
You told me you're hiding from some dangerous people.
Let's knock on the door. I spent the last year searching for the Deep Star. A bounty so big that the entire galaxy could be yours.
People have been looking for the Deep Star for years. It can't be found.
It's because they can't find the distress beacon. I know where it is.
If we find the Deep Star, we could get enough credits to bring Mom back.
Blast off.
Guys, we have company.
You can run, but you cannot hide. Prepare for impact.
I am now authorized to take action.
And now you die.
No!
What affects your credit? The answer can be many things. Let's take a look at a few of the most common factors and how they can impact your credit. Credit history. In order to have a credit score, you need to have open and active credit accounts. This gives you the opportunity to build a credit score and get approved for larger purchases such as a car or a home. So it's important to have a responsible record of debt repayment. Available credit and usage. The rule of thumb is to use 30% of your available credit to minimize the impact of debt on your credit score. In other words, the less credit you use, the better. Monthly on-time payments. By making sure your monthly payments are paid on time, you could boost your credit score. Late payments, however, may bring your score down. Errors on your credit report. Check your credit report regularly to make sure it's accurate. If there are any errors or signs of identity theft, report them immediately to the appropriate credit bureau. Applications for credit. If you're applying for credit, filling out several applications in a short amount of time may hurt your credit score. It's ideal to keep the applications to a minimum. However, there is an allowable shopping window for a mortgage. Remember, a good credit score could possibly save you in interest payments. If your credit score needs some improvement, however, consider starting with the basics mentioned here. And when you're ready to buy your dream home, give New American Funding a call. We'll help you find a home loan that works for you and your unique situation.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York, so his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provide.
Hi guys, and welcome back to The Hot Seat. I am your host, Priscilla, and we are not done with people in the film industry yet. Our next guest, I'm really excited to introduce you guys to her. She is not a newbie to social media shows. I actually did meet her prior at a red carpet months ago, over half a year ago. And I hope she remembers me. But she is a retired police officer. She also is very spiritual and talks a lot about how God has guided her to get where she is now. She has been in Vegas a long time, guys. She is queen, and she is a award-winning film producer, director, all of the above. She loves it. She's here. We love it. We love having her here. So everyone, please welcome Chaplain Tamia Dow. Hello, Queen.
Good to see you again. Yes.
Please take a seat. Climb on. Yes, climb on up. An apple box. Welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you
so
for
glad to have
having
you
me.
here.
Yes.
It will not burn you, I promise. But there's so much that I want to unfold with you because you're a woman of many talents. You're multifaceted and things that people are not going to assume that you are, especially when you're marketing yourself in film now. You're a very spiritual woman and you're a woman of faith, which I love. But to get started, you moved back here in 1980, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not back. I moved here. Period.
Right. You moved here from Ohio, if I'm correct,
yes,
right?
Yes,
you moved here and stayed.
Yes.
Since 1980, you're young. You went to school here. You did go to UNLV.
Yes.
Correct. And interestingly enough, you're not only a Army veteran, but you're also a retired police officer.
Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Yeah, and you originally actually wanted to be a Fed, no? Like that was
correct.
Right,
I went to be a DEA agent.
Yeah.
Because at the time I hablo un poquito español. So
I
was able to. Now it's even less poquito.
You're like, I'm out of practice. It's English now, honey. But I know, I did a lot of research on my guests.
Obviously, it sounds like
you're just sitting there like, is she a detective? Like low key, but. Interestingly, my father was a detective in Fugitives and Warrants back in Chicago, so I feel like I just skipped that level of detective. I can be like, who is this person?
Yes.
But I love that for you, and I feel like you've seen a lot, you've been through a lot, and it kind of molded you of who you are, and you've been able to carry that as a retired cop up until now.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I do a lot. In fact, it's a film I'm working on right now. That's why I'm dressed like I am. I was just scouting today. And time got away from me. I was like, oh my God, it was the show at 3 o'clock. So I was interviewing one of my characters. Like, it's going to be based on a true life character. So I'm interviewing the character, and I said, just be prepared. I go, this is going to be a very in-depth interview. I go, I'm going to be, putting my detective hat on, and we're going to be going down, Because when you're creating a character from a real character, there's a whole lot more work than if you're creating that character yourself, So I was really deep diving with him and asking him the back questions, like, what made you do this and why did you do that and what did you feel like when you did that and da-da-da-da-da, And he was real good sport about it because I told him ahead of time, I said, get ready. Because I said, get ready, it's going to be a deep dive. You're going to feel like he's a young guy, right? Okay. So but you'll feel like I'm a proctologist, okay? Because I'm going to be getting in there deep and figuring it all out, Yeah,
and back when you were, obviously you're using that type of skill now, But is there a moment back then when you kind of were questioning whether or not being a police officer was for you, even though that's always been your dream back when you were young? I feel like I heard you in one of the interviews I did watch that you always knew that you wanted to be a police officer in the force. Correct?
Yes, I did. I always knew I wanted to be a police officer, but there's a season for everything. You know, and I am the type of person that even when I was on the police department, I did my best to do a bunch of diverse jobs.
Okay.
I didn't want to be just driving the black and white all day. You know, I didn't want to be particular one type of detective forever. You know, when I retired, I was a domestic violence detective, which is my favorite assignment. I really enjoyed being a domestic violence detective because of the characters and the people that I dealt with. You know, victims of domestic violence, sex trafficking, sometimes children, you know, child abuse, things like that. I felt like that was the core of the vulnerability part of our society that really didn't have that much representation. So I was able to be in a position where I could possibly, you know, make their lives better by what I did as a detective.
Yeah, and you also are very big on sex trafficking victims.
Big
Correct?
time, yes.
Yeah.
I often would make contact and work with victims that were initially identified as a domestic violence victim, but when I interviewed them, I found out that when they said old man or they said that was their man, they meant that was their pimp, you know, that was their trafficker. And so therefore, after I got the more information on it, I would be able to work with them and work with Vice, because Vice also works with sex trafficking victims. But I was exposed to them, and that's how I learned a lot about working with victims or survivors now. Because at the time when I dealt with them, they were victims. So because I know there's a word issue amongst survivors, and they don't like to be called victims. But at the time, I, as a detective, was working with them, they were still in the victim state. And then, of course, now many of them are survivors.
Yeah, and it taught you a lot about talking to people and meeting people with non-judgment. I mean, even a lot of people believe that, you know, police officers are seeking things out or doing judging you, like always things negatively, which unfortunately is a lot of a cop's life is seeing negative things. But you don't come across as a woman who's going to look at someone that's like only looking at the bad. You're trying to bring out the good to help them. Correct?
Ideally, I do want to believe for good, but I'm also realistic. I'm realistic, and I keep people at arm's length.
Right.
I do, because
it's a natural instinct.
It's
at this point.
Very natural instinct.
You've seen things. Are there still things that have stuck with you from back when you were on duty?
Oh, I can still see two of my domestic violence victims that literally died right in front of me. You know, I can visually see what happened to them. One of the victims, I had gone to her house many times, and each time I went, it was just getting progressively more, you know, like one time she had a punch, you couldn't see it. The next time she had a punch and you could see it. The next time she had a broken arm. The next time, you know what I'm saying? So it just kept getting worse and worse each time. And I told her, I said, you should really leave him. You know, we have resources for you and this and this and this, you know. And I know she's in love. She needs to be there for him. She needs to help him, this kind of thing. So the final call that I got with her, and I had even told her beforehand, not that I was trying to be prophetic in what I was saying, but it was just, it happens in domestic violence situations sometimes, oftentimes, if it continues to go like that progressively, what's the end game? That one kills the other, or one kills both, which you have the murder-suicides that happen quite often too, which was another scenario that happened when I tried to protect a woman and her family, a woman and her children, against her abuser. And her abuser, I sent him away. She refused to testify against him. My team and we sent him away. He was gone for 3 years doing his time. He came back. The day he came back, he called her to meet with her, tell her how much he loved her, killed her, and killed himself. You know, so these are the kind of things that, for me as a domestic, or I say, I'm a domestic violence detective survivor. It's like, because of the things that I have seen, you know, and it's just, you know, when I was starting to tell you about the woman who I had gone and see her many times, and this call was a call that there was shots fired, right? I go to the house, she's sitting in her truck, she was trying to drive away, and he shot her in her neck. And she was bleeding out right there when I came to there, and you know, I didn't have a trauma kit or anything. You know, I'm just trying to hold her neck and tell her to hold on, and I literally watched the lights go out. You know, the life, you know, drain out of her in the car. You know, and this is the same person who I sat so many times and responded to her house as a police officer and said, "You need to get out of this situation." Yeah. You know, so there's so many heartbreaking stories that I can tell, but those are, you said, Deneen, stand out, and those are some that to this day still stand out to me, because I'm just heartbroken that they're gone. you know, but you cannot make a grown person do anything they don't want to do.
Right.
You know, so therefore all you can do is say, this is probably what's best for you. It might make sense if you do it, but if you don't do it, I can't come and arrest you and make you do it, you know, so. Yeah.
Right, and it's bad because you kind of know where it's going, and you want so badly to help them, and then you don't want to hold on to guilt for the rest of your life.
Oh,
thinking,
I released
maybe one time I could have, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, a lot of police officers that I have talked to, they do feel that, they're like, oh yeah, like you go through those stages, and guilt definitely sticks with you no matter what, even if there's nothing anyone could have done.
Correct.
It's still like, I remember when I was on that day, what if I just, right?
Right.
So after that, I know you retired and you knew that that wasn't the only thing you had in you. It wasn't just, you know, that talent that you had, but you also were seeking something else, right? You were asking questions.
I was very well trained on the police department. I tell you what, I retired young. As soon as I was able to retire, I was out of there. I bought some time, so I had my 25 years in the system called down. ASPERS, which is our system that does our retirement. I says, when do I hit 25? They said, you hit it in July. And it was like November. So I was like, oh, anytime now, right? I'm on long time right now, you know. So what I had done is I went to my lieutenant and I said, hey, my thing is I'm a natural born trainer. I'm a learn, do, teach person. You know, I'm a certified coach. You know, Del Carnegie. In fact, I just did a speaking engagement where I was the judge for veterans that were speaking their story. You know, so part of the Lord has just blessed me kind of with this ability to communicate, okay, in many aspects. You know, I'm a best-selling author. Right. You know, I've helped many other people become best-selling authors, that kind of stuff. So I look at it like this. It's like, I'm here for a reason. There's a purpose to my life, and I shouldn't have, and I didn't, retire and say, oh, you know, I'm done. I'm going to go to the beach. Now, bear in mind, I get beaches in. I do a lot of traveling, okay? Yeah. But I tend to do it with my films. You know, like I've been to Cannes twice with my films, the Cannes Film Festival. I've been to Barcelona 3 times, you know, with my films. You know, I just am so blessed with how the Lord has opened the doors. And I do the domestic violence trainings. So I actually take best practice trainings around the world. Last training was in Curacao last June. I go and I teach the local police agencies because not everybody has all of the training that we have here in the U.S. on domestic violence issues, sex trafficking issues, things such as that. So I was invited to Curacao, which is one of the ABC islands. It is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, and it's off the coast of Miami, you know, out there. And I was able to go there and train, and they've had me back 3 times since then. So my thing is, I think it's very important to use your life, the things that the Lord has blessed you with. I mean, all of this training, these skills, all of this filmmaking, the love of filmmaking, writing, all of that. Every day I wake up and I say, Lord, how can I be of service? What is it I'm supposed to do for you today? You know, like today I said I was out scouting, you know, for my next film. You know, because next in September, the first week of September, I'm filming a film before I leave to go to Barcelona for a film festival.
Queen. Period. You know, period. You're living the life that everyone is dreaming of living. You know, you're being able to work, you're being able to meet people, you're being able to live your passion, do what you love to do, and also contribute to things that can be more, right? Like we were talking earlier about the film industry in Vegas. You've been here for some time and you've been doing many films. I know that you're involved in way over 20.
Right.
And you've seen how things have changed in the city of Las Vegas, right? And what's different about you that I really want to say to the audience is that your films are all about faith. Like you make sure, you know, they're very classy. You focus them and center them around your beliefs, and that's kind of like your trademark.
Yes.
So what was a day when you had this epiphany that this is it? This is going to be my mark in film. This is what I'm doing now. This is my goal.
Well, I knew I was always going to do faith-based films. I have a cringe effect when I watch films that do, you know, what is it, nudity and profanity and, you know, the N-word and all that stuff. And people do it because people will pay and they'll go, you know. But that's not what my thing is. In the end, what's my message? You know, I want to give somebody a wholesome message and education through the film, you know, that they will walk away and go, oh, okay, that was cool. Not that, oh man, and this was, you know, he was saying all this and blah, blah, blah. What was the message? You know, And you can do a message without all of that profanity and cussing and nudity and all that kind of stuff. You can still get, and I've done it in all my films. You know, I have over 25 awards for my films. So obviously I'm doing something right in not embracing that, you know, cussing and fussing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I love that. You know, because a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, it's going to have more passion if you say that, they let them improv, and then actors kind of get way out of whatever the line was. You know, so you have to have a team and people around you that also believe in your films to be able to make it the vision that you're creating. A lot of times you have to have trust in your actors and your crew in order to tell the story, because it is your story, right? And you don't want, because everything like, no, this is, you know, and it could be really hard to make sure that you're sticking true to your message, especially because you're all about teaching people and helping people with those things, which I love. And so where do you see film going for Vegas? And are you really hoping that you are going to be making a big contribution to it?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, I think do you have my number? Should I give it to you? I know he's here. Someone else is here that I know it's slipping my mind. But the thing is, I know that we have a great place for people to come and create films. And we have already in place a bunch of really good studios for people to come and create film. But then you also have a lot of independent filmmakers who are here creating film, you know, in Las Vegas. So you become Vegas famous. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with being Vegas famous. You know, tell your story and work with what we have. You know, that's why I love the film office. They're always like, you know, what is it say? Your vision, our location, or something like that is their theme. Vegas is not just the Strip. The Strip. I have made so many films, and I don't think the Strip has ever been a part of it. You know, people do their B-roll and they have the Strip. You won't see that. In fact, the film I'm making right now is focused on the mountains.
Amazing.
Yes, it's focused on the mountains. So, and that's because, and I'm making a character, you know, the Vegas mountains, you know, and I think it's important for us to be unique in our storytelling. I think it's important for us to use the resources and the things that are available to us, like the mountains, you know, the desert,
everything.
You know, there's just so much
it's very accessible.
It's very accessible. The lake, you know, we have even the little lakes around the city, you know, that you can go and film at with the ducks and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's so many creative things. In fact, like when I did one of my films called Meet Me After School, and we got best cinematography. And I truly believe it was because the ducks were a character in our film.
Okay, you're like, you see them floating around, and you're like, you know what? Come on by.
The kids were playing.
You're now booked. You're hired. You're cast as the duck.
and they were cheap, just breadcrumbs.
Right. Now, is there one of your films that you are most proud of to this day, even when you're working? That's one film that you say would best solidify you as a filmmaker, and that's really the one that you're the most proud of, that you would show everyone?
The one that's won the most awards, and that's Why Should I Care?
Okay.
And Why Should I Care is a film that talked about a woman who was believed to be the victims of domestic violence. She was working in a business office, and she had a very stern boss who would not give her any leeway. She came to work beat up one day, and we tell the story around why we should have cared that she came home, or that she came to work beat up. And it ends up talking about sex trafficking, infidelity, just a whole bunch of issues all in one story. And that's probably one of my, actually it is, it's the one I'm the most proud of.
Yeah. Now, how long ago did you film that one?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually my very first, but my first film was a 48-hour film.
Okay.
And then the very next film after that, because I won an award for the 48, and then I went on Vegas Live with Ninon, and her camera guy was like, oh, I want to make a movie, can you make a movie? He goes, I'd love to make a movie with you. And he goes, do you have any scripts or anything like that? His name's Steven Sebo. And I said, yes, because I coach people this, just say yes and figure it out, right? Yeah. So he was like, okay, we need, and his partner was Kona, and he said, well, I need to leave on Friday, so can you have it ready for Friday?
Oh, goodness.
So I had another 48-hour film festival, because that was a Tuesday. But we did. We made the film, and it was Why Should I Care? That was the film.
That was, wow.
We ended up casting one of the ladies, just like when I was sitting in the hallway talking to Greg and Steven, one of the friends that was sitting on the couch with me, I casted her in the movie because she happened to be next to me when he asked me, did I have a movie? And that was Lindsay Cruz. And she is an amazing, amazing actress. And to this day, everybody's like, how did you get her? It's like, she was sitting next to me on the couch.
See, what happened was...
what happened was...
God said they were right. Hey.
She said, I'd love to work with you. How can I help? And then within, 20 minutes, I'm calling her going, hey, listen.
Were you serious about that? Because, I really need to answer yes or no.
Exactly.
But and since then, you've just blossomed, and it kind of has just been, no pun intended, God-giving.
Amen.
And amen, right? And what is your take on using Vegas locals? Because there's a whole stigma around the film community, and even when you do national commercials, they will always outsource, right? And it makes a lot of Vegas talent kind of upset, being like, we have that here, and we just need that opportunity to kind of let our talent shine. So do you prominently look to Vegas and really showcase?
Always look local.
Okay.
Come see me. Get a hold of me. I am 888 Spirit Productions, 8 Spirit Productions on Facebook. And director Tamia Dow, all together at Gmail. And I'm casting for my film for next week. So yes, I've cast locals all the time. I have seen so many amazing people come on through our films. And see, filmmaking, to me, filmmaking is a team sport. It's not about me. I can't make a film by just me standing here on the box and putting a video there. I mean, I could technically, you know what I'm saying? But
it's teamwork. Teamwork. You need a lot of hands.
Yes. Man, what does they say? Many hands make light work. Okay. So please, and I like people that are passionate and that will come and that'll be like, I'm supposed to be an actress. I know I'm supposed to do my lines, but listen, is there anything else I can do? Can I help you with this? Can I make a bed? Can I this? Because there's sets. There's all, you know what I'm saying? There's so much to filmmaking. Yes.
People doing everything all at once.
Yes.
And while also it's a workplace and people are here, but they're also mingling, getting to know each other. Because you have to work together and see each other all the time, right?
Well, and that's the thing is you never know who you're sitting next to. Right. I could walk out of here today and you'd be like, Tamia, hey, I got a gig for you. I'd be like, Priscilla, hey, I got a gig for you. And it's just because we met, we sat down, we were a few minutes on set together, and then now we know each other and we can refer each other and we can help each other's careers,
That's the whole point of this, and Vegas is a great place for that. And I think it's kind of better that, we're in a smaller, non-known city for film. We're not the LA, the stereotypical idea of what those cities are. And we're able to just build it from the bottom up and be really proud of it and be a part of it mostly.
Right.
And so I know that you're working on one now, but what's the most recent film that people can go watch, and where is it streamed?
We just finished a showcase last Friday of 4 of my films. Why Should I Care was one of them, because it's my favorite. We did A Rising Eagle, which was a story about a Middle Eastern Indian woman who is a pastor. She's a Christian pastor. We told her story. Then it was Toxic Love, which is actually a domestic violence film, and sex trafficking, but Toxic Love, you only see the domestic violence part of it because it's a treatment for another feature that we're putting together and fundraising for. And Lawrence Choice is my most recent film.
Okay.
So we screened that, and it's currently in film festivals. Okay. And I will be taking that to Barcelona here in September.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Fantastic.
But I am making a new film, okay?
Yeah, she's in the works. So I'm not going to get all the details. Yes. It's in the works. It's in the works right now.
Casting. So
she's casting.
Send your stuff.
Everything. Now I'm going to ask you this one, and I really wish that I could spend all day talking to you because you have so much passion, drive, and so many things. But is there a motto or philosophy that you live by?
That's a very good question. So I truly believe there's a scripture, Colossians 3:23, that we are supposed to work as unto the Lord and not unto men. So regardless of what we do, it's not to please man, it's to please God. Yeah. So every single thing that I do, it's for His glory.
Yeah.
And that's how I live. It's kind of like live your life, enjoy your life for His glory.
Yeah.
And He told us in John 10:10 that He came to bring us life more abundant. And people forget that. Abundant life means living your life to the fullest, blessing people along the way, which is what I do my best to do every single day. How can I be a blessing to this person? Even if it's just a smile or a hello, a brief moment just chatting with them, you can really change somebody's life, especially in our dark society where a lot of people are thinking about doing harm to themselves. And just a kind word could really change people's lives.
It can. You never know who you're meeting.
Never
right?
know.
And it's not just for work businesses and networking, but literally you don't know what someone's going through, so it's always best to open them up with a hello, a nice hello, a smile, and just know that they are cared for.
Right.
You know, because we're all human. No matter how we feel about ourselves, or how confident or how successful we are, we're a human at the end of the day. We go home, we all have our intrusive thoughts, we all have, you know, our own insecurities, whatever they may be, and we have to somehow just know that we are loved by society, by people, whatever it is, right?
Because we're supposed to love one another.
Yeah.
That's actually the greatest commandment. So the
Yeah.
greatest of these is love. We are commanded to love one another.
So what legacy do you want to leave behind? Whether it be in regards to film or just you as a public figure, as a talented woman, what is the legacy?
There's a song, I think I first show it's from, where it says, try everything, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, try everything. Okay, so I know I was bad because it's kind of high pitched, but it's try everything. Do everything that the Lord puts on your heart. Mm-hmm. Do it to the best of your ability and enjoy it. Even if it's not perfect, enjoy it. I always tell my authors, I said, you know what, you can't edit a blank page. You have to create something in order to edit it, in order to change it, mm-hmm. in order to enhance it. So do it. Mm-hmm. And I want to take the word try out, because try doesn't happen. You have to do. You either do or you don't, right? Is that what you told you?
Yeah.
You either do or you don't. There's no try, right?
Yeah.
So go out and do it. If the Lord puts something on your heart to do it. Even if you can't do it your best. You know what? When I did my first film, did I know everything? No. You know what my guideline was for my first film? I had never made a film before, even though I have the film hat on right here from UNLV. At the time, 2018, I had never made a film before, and I followed the guidelines for the 48-hour film festival or film project. And I tell you what, to this day, I still follow those guidelines when I make a movie. So do what you need to do. Try a 48-hour if you really want to make a film, because we're talking about filmmaking, right? Try a 48-hour. I became the producer, director, writer, casting agent, everything on my first 48. And I turned around and I won an award. And that's a whole story in and of itself of how that happened. But because of, anyways, it's a long story. But God blessed me, and I won the social awareness film because we were talking about veterans, homelessness, and suicide. Mm-hmm. And that came to me 30 hours into the 48, because the first project that I had put together for it, my actress fell through. So all my actors had acted around her, and we couldn't use any of that footage. I had to create a whole new film.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then look.
Exactly.
Right? And you're like, thank you, Lord. And quickly, but she does have a ministerial degree, right? You did say you are an actor chaplain, so she is a minister, and she's here preaching and doing. You combine everything that you can do into one thing.
I do my
best.
And
I love. And then you're sharing that thing with everyone else, and no one can even say that they do the same, because you can't even be like, there's so many of me. There's one of you, and that is you, and you are here
with multiple hats. And that's why I actually have a hat on today. I said, I was joking with Greg out there. I said, I never come on a set like this. I usually, hair's done, I'm in a dress. I was like, you know what? This is how I scout. This is how I'm on set, Baseball cap, tennis shoes, comfortable,
Right, that's the set look. You're the woman, and she came in like the woman in charge. I said, yeah, she does what she looks the role, like that's the role, but absolutely amazing. And you already did tell me where to go to find you.
Yes, the number 8 here. Spirit Productions on Facebook, or Chaplain Dow, CHAPLAI, and Dow, DOW, Instagram, or what is it? There we go, at Tamia _Dow. And if you want to see my film stuff, mostly that's on Instagram. So if you go to Instagram, you'll find a lot of the film
You'll
projects.
just find everything about
trips to Cannes and trips to Spain.
Right. Just like the everyday life. Like, what do you, just like everyone's Instagram. What do you mean? But amazing. I had a pleasure sitting with you and just kind of unraveling all the things that make you, because they're all very important. Every single one of those steps are very important, and says why. Right? Why your films are the way they are, why you talk about. Because normally with filmmakers, you ask, okay, like what inspired you for that film? Like, we got to dig to what makes you you. this is your way of sharing that gift that you had with the world. So thank you so much, everyone. She is casting and never not working, so I'm pretty sure she will always be casting. So you know what I mean? I don't see her stopping anytime soon, which is great.
The Lord has not told me to do so.
No, they're not. You're like, I didn't hear it today. Okay. Amazing. So everyone, Chaplain Tamia Dow, round of applause for her. And please stay tuned because we are not done talking, but definitely on your break, go look her up. Get her contact.
Las Vegas, here we come!
I can't believe we're all moving to Vegas.
I know, right? It's a dream come true.
Wow, super creepy dude.
Mason, stop. I think he heard you.
What if someone locked up in the back of his Semi?
She's gone. Someone took her. Who's that creepy trucker?
What are you doing?
They call me Mother Trucker.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Hi guys, and welcome back to The Hot Seat. I am your host, Priscilla Moy. Thank you guys so much. I thank you guys every week for viewing our episodes and everything that we have to share and offer here at Social Media Shows, not just a hot seat. But please, this is made to market these amazing souls, these amazing talents here that share their stories. So if anything, please look them up, stay in contact. If you are a Vegas local, it's always great to connect with people, even if they don't do the same things that you do. It's not even about what can I get out of it, right? Like, the more you meet people, the more you learn about yourself, and the more you learn about your community. And here in Vegas, I know a lot of us are very proud of the city that we're in, and we want to protect it at all costs while helping it grow. So it is amazing for me to even be here in this seat, you know, in the little director scene, which is the one who's always in charge, the one to sit there and kind of meet these people, get their stories out, really show their genuine side that they might not show the minute they walk out here. So if anything, this is going to be the show. If you want to learn about somebody or you want someone to learn about you, this is the show that you are going to want to be on. So yes, one more announcement is that if you are looking to sponsor any of the shows here on Social Media Shows, we're always looking, so make sure to email admin@socialmediashows.com, and that's also the email that you want to email if you want to be on any of the shows, not just mine. There are multiple shows on this network. There are more coming out. There are more that are new and trying to be up and coming, so please support those and those hosts as well. But we're always looking to connect. The production team, Maria, is always looking to connect with you, meet you guys, talk business, and just kind of see what we can do here at Social Media Shows. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next episode. And remember, share, comment, like, all of the things, and just continue to support and be kind to one another. Okay? Bye, guys.